Hey, it's Mr. Estrada here, and our learning target says I can write the equation of a circle given a graph of the circle or the center and radius of the circle. So let's get to it. Start with some basic stuff. The radius of a circle is the distance from the center of the circle to a point on the circle. Another way to say it is you could say the radius is the line that connects the center. So when I say center, I'm referring to this point right over here. So you can also say that the radius is the line that connects the center and the circle. Okay, now if that's the case, then that means that there are many radii, because this is also a radius, right? It connects the center and the circle. This is also a radius. This is also a radius. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. You get the point, right? You should never think of the radius as exclusively one line, right? The radius is any line that you draw from the center to a point on the circle. Okay, another thing that I want to say is that the way you represent the center in a coordinate plane is with HK. So here's what I'm saying, right? Suppose this is a coordinate plane. So you got your y-axis and you got your x-axis here. So I'm just going to write x and y-axis. Say this circle is on the coordinate plane, and this right over here, this would be the origin. H and K represents the coordinates of the center. So H represents the x-coordinate of the center. So H and K are a set of coordinates. H is the x-coordinate of the center, and K is the y-coordinate of the center. Okay, so that's some basic stuff there. So the radius is represented by R, and the center is represented by HK. All right. The standard equation of a circle is right over here. And this is something very important. You got to write this down. This is something you got to memorize. So make sure you memorize this equation. And it basically says x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. And as I had just said in a previous slide, where hk is the center, the coordinates of the center, and r is the radius. So you're going to see later on that what we're going to do for this equation is we're only going to substitute for h, k, and r. So those are going to be the only things we substitute for to write the actual equation of a circle in this video. Here are some steps that you can follow to find the equation of a circle. And these are the steps that I'm going to use in my video. Okay, so here's our first example. It says, what is the equation of the circle below? So let's begin with a fact. The equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So let's begin with that. Okay, our first step is to identify the center. So the center is right over here. This is our center. And the center is -3, 1. So the center is -3, 1. Sorry about that. So center is -3, 1. That's the first step. Step 2, find the radius. So the radius is the distance from the center to a point on the circle. So here, I'm just going to take my pen and I'm going to count from the center to a point on the circle. So I'll pick this point here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So the radius for me here is 3. Step 3, substitute into the equation of a circle. So it's going to be x minus h, I'm going to leave that blank and I'm going to put something in there later, squared plus y minus k, I'm going to leave that blank, squared equals r squared. So all I have to do, sorry about that, so all I have to do now is substitute for h, k, and r. Well, h is -3, so I'll write -3 there. K is 1, so I'll write 1 in there. And r is 3, so I'll put 3 in there. The final step is to simplify. So understand this, right? Whenever you're subtracting a negative, or you're subtracting a negative here, what that really is addition. So so right over here, or the other way kids do it is, they use that thing, keep, change, right? Subtracting a negative, keep the sign, change it, so it turns into a positive. The point is this, right? Those two negatives, that's going to become addition. So that x minus -3 becomes x plus 3 squared. And then that y minus 1, that's just going to stay as y minus 1. 3 to the second power is 9, so that's a 9 there. So this is our final answer. And that's the equation of our circle. No need to distribute here. You do not have to distribute this. When I say simplify, I just mean simplify the signs and the radius and r squared. So when I say simplify here, I mean simplify the radius squared. I should say simplify the radius squared and the signs in front of h and k. All right? Let's try another one. If the center of a circle is -4, 5, and the radius is 5, what is the equation? So let's begin by identifying the center. So the center is h and k. That's our center. And we know what our radius is. Our radius is 5, so we know that r equals 5. We're going to write the equation of the circle. We're going to substitute now. So we get that. Now we're going to simplify the signs and r squared. When we do that, we get the following. So this is our final answer. Okay, last one. Example 3 says, which equation represents circle O with center 2, -8, and radius 9? So I don't know if you've been noticing a pattern here with our two previous problems, but you should notice that the radius gets squared. So automatically we know the answer cannot be choice 1, and we know the answer cannot be choice 2. Because we know that when we put the 9 into the formula, it has to give us 81. So it's either choice 3 and choice 4. Now, the other thing you should be noticing is the following. Notice that when h is negative and when k is negative, in the formula right over here, you're going to have plus signs. Now, the reason why that is because you have the subtraction sign from the formula. That subtraction sign from the formula is just going to automatically change the signs of h and k. So we know those signs should change. So we know that the answer cannot be choice 3 because the signs of h and k do not change. So we are left with our answer, which is choice 4. Choice 4 is the correct answer for example 3. All right, I hope this video helps. Take care.